Hi students, this is your instructional video on your Week 3 at-home inquiry assignment, Graphing Relationships. This assignment is the second assignment in Week 3, and this assignment is going to be based off of your Week 2 at-home inquiry pennies and rulers. So you want to make sure that you have that assignment open and available to you on your computer. If you did take notes or write your information on a piece of paper, then you want to make sure you have that available. Either way, you want your data and all your information from that assignment available to you in order to do this assignment. Now we're going to be making graphs when it comes to this assignment, so it's important that you know how to use Excel or other graphing sites. And the assignment itself will take you a total of 20 to 30 minutes. Now, in order to access this assignment, which is a discussion post, you're going to click on this Week 3 at-home inquiry, Graphing Relationships, title link, and it'll bring you into the thread. And the thread is already made, so you'll simply click on this link here, and that'll bring you into the instructions. Now, again, we're going to be graphing information, and we're going to be looking back at our problem statement where is there a relationship to the year a penny was made and the diameter of a penny. And you're going to use your data and graphing that data in order to see if there is a relationship. And the goal is to make sure that you have some practice making graphs, that you have all of the parts of a graph that are needed in order for it to be a good graph. And then we're going to talk about what a trend line is and the R value. And then also we're going to add an equation. The equation itself isn't going to be as important in this assignment as some later assignments might be, but nonetheless, we're going to learn how to add this because you will be using it. Now, students should be using Excel, and that's the icon, that green icon right there. Now, if you don't have Microsoft Office or Excel on your computer, please know that if you are a student with Minnows, you have access to downloading Microsoft Office, and that goes through your email. So if you want some instructions on how to do that, make sure to email me and I will show you how to download and access the Microsoft Office so you have Microsoft Word and Excel and all the other tools that we might use. But I do recommend using Excel. Now for making the graph, you have some information here on how to make graphs. One is for word processor users like Lenovo, HP, Dell, all those types of computers. And then there is a video on how to do this for Mac users. So if you use Apple products, that's going to be the video you're going to watch. And it just shows you how to go through making the graph, as well as adding the trend line, the R value, and your equation. So make sure you watch those if you need help on how to make your graph. And ultimately, what you're going to do is save your graph and your data, so we have access to look at it. And we're going to pick that graph apart once you have it done. So you're going to make sure you have your graph made. You're going to submit that into your discussion post. That's part one. And then that way we can look at your graph. And then the second part of the discussion is answering questions below. So what I want you to do is look at your graph and see if you can see a relationship between your data. And the relationships you're going to look for are constant, direct, and indirect, which is also called inverse relationships. And there's a little picture here to help you with that. So I want you to look at your data and see if you have a relationship in your opinion and describe why or why not you have that relationship in your data or not. Second part about that is looking at your R value, and that's going to be something that I'm going to have you do throughout the year because the R value will tell us if we have a relationship in our data or not. And the closer to 1 that your R2 value is, means you have a stronger relationship. When it's closer to 0, that means there is not a relationship, and chances are your data doesn't have any correlation in that aspect. So make sure with this one you look at your R value and you compare that to the table and then answer the question. And then the second piece is where you're going to reply to another student's post. You'll reply to at least 2 other students. And you're going to look at their information that they have and pick it apart and basically reply to their post. So again, we're graphing, we're looking at the graph, seeing if we have a relationship, seeing what our R value tells us, and just getting used to using those tools that are available to us when we're dealing with data. So when you're ready for this, you'll hit reply down here. That will open your submission post. And this is where you can load a file, which would be your graph. This is where you'll answer your questions in the submission text. And then when all is ready, you'll hit submit, which is this blue button in the bottom right. You'll submit your information for grading. And then you'll go back into the thread and look at other students' posts. Now, if you're the first person to post and there's nobody who posted before you, you will have to come back later that week in order to comment on students' work. So just know that for sure. You'll have to come back so you can do that. If you have any questions or concerns on this assignment, make sure to email me or text me. And then again, if you want information on how to do this downloading of Microsoft Office, feel free to email me about that as well, and I will send you some information. Otherwise, when you're done with this, you can go ahead and move on in your week 3 assignments.